once again, what is going on? My name is Jonathan. This is Comic Book Cinema. I am joined by Mr. Jared.
That's me.
And Mr. Timothy Watkins. He's a part-time comedian, part-time Renaissance man, part-time awesome. Well, actually, full-time awesome. And Mr. Dustin. What's going on? Mr. Dustin is a connoisseur of film. He has more films than anyone, and probably all of us combined. I thought I had a giant movie collection until I met Mr. Dustin. He is truly my inspiration. What's up, Dustin?
Not much. Yes, it's quite large, but surprisingly, I don't have the biggest collection.
Yeah, well, I mean, in this group, and it's something. It's goals. It's something that we can all attain to one day. And one day, mark my words, everyone, I will have a collection like that. Unless my wife is watching, I will totally never have a collection that big. And Josh, what's going on, Mr. Josh?
None much. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely fantastic. And I will say, by the way, I'm sporting my Nuclear Man t-shirt today because one of these days, Mark Pillows will be on the show. So, not that this is flattery or bribery or anything like that, but Mr. Mark, if you're out there and if you're watching, I'll see you soon, my friend. That's not going to scare him away at all. And guys, today we're here to talk about the most anticipated upcoming comic book movies. We'll start off with what's coming out the soonest, which is going to be, by the way, for the uninitiated, Jared Mayo. Well, you have DC fans and people who don't like DC at all. I would say that Jared falls into that latter category, not just judging by his decorations in the background there, but having him on the show several times, he might or might not be biased towards Marvel. With that being said, in October, we have Black Adam coming out with The Rock. What do you guys think about that?
I don't. I have no thoughts about it.
Really?
The Rock being a superhero now is like the Jackass guys in the fourth movie. I'm just like, this is like a little bit uncanny and a little bit sad that they're still putting their bodies through this. And just add more baby oil. Like,
listen, I cannot physically say anything negative about The Rock. I grew up watching him on TV, beating Stone Cold's hind parts. For lack of a better term, he started foraying into Hollywood. He seems like the nicest guy ever, like literally. So it's so hard to say anything negative about him. But with that being said, it just feels weird. And I think it's something that we're not used to yet, like seeing The Rock as a superhero. I'm very interested to see how the film's going to turn out. I think that it has a lot of potential. And I know no matter what we say or what anyone else says, Jared's going to hate the idea because it's DC. But I'm excited.
Dude, I was on your Batman show. I was on your Joker show because I watch all the movies, but you can't say that trailer is like, I can't wait till opening day. You just can't say that.
I mean, it looks cool.
Matinee.
What do you guys
think? The Rock play a superhero is like watching Trump play a president in a movie. It's like, I kind of thought he already was, right? Like, it's kind of like a hat on a hat kind of joke where you're just like, he didn't really need any more smoke blown up his Stone Cold Stunner, which, by the way, no one has ever sold the Stone Cold Stunner more than The Rock, and he will always have my respect for that.
Absolutely.
Two flips each time.
Two flip backwards.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go out there and say I think it's actually, and I only say this because I went into Shazam thinking this is gonna be a hot mess, and I really enjoyed Shazam. So I think it's gonna be an okay movie, and it'll be interesting. And he's not technically a superhero; he's an anti-hero, so it's gonna be kind of interesting to see how he plays the Black Adam character. And then we also the Society. In live action and film and not television. I think they've really destroyed them in the TV world, but it'll be cool to see them with a budget. Getting to see Dr. Fate and Hawkman with a budget will be interesting. That's what I'm most excited for.
Yeah, Dr. Fate. That's interesting. As played by Pierce Brosnan. So there's a lot of things to be excited about. I mean, we'll just, I'm not going to get super excited about it, but every comic book movie that comes out, let's be honest, guys, I'm going to be there opening weekend. So I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not going to lie to myself. So I'm going to go watch it. Anyway.
Yes, let's not forget Jonathan was there for Morbius. Let's
I
never
was.
forget that.
I was there opening weekend for Morbius.
I know, and I don't want anyone to forget that.
Because I am a true comic book movie fan, Jared. And would I have a shirt like this if I wasn't a true comic book movie fan?
Killing the credibility of the channel, bro.
Dude, you having Mark on this show would beat when Red Letter Media had Samurai Cop on their show. That's a deep reference, but it would be the penultimate of bad movie actor podcast.
Hey, don't talk badly about Mark.
It would just be impressive for you to get Mark on your show because he left the business 20 years ago. So you'd be able to get him out of whatever hole he's in. That'd be impressive.
It's going to happen, guys. Mark my words. It's going to happen. Okay, moving on. Wakanda Forever. That's the next big Marvel movie. It's coming out in November. I wasn't a huge fan of the first Black Panther film, but as time went on and we lost Chadwick, I'm really interested to see like how they do this. They're making a sequel to a Black Panther movie without Black Panther, and they're not going to recast Black Panther, which I get why they're doing it. I get their intentions behind that out of respect. But I am more along on the camp of, or on the mindset of, I think that Black Panther should be just like James Bond, like it's a legacy character that carries on through time. And I think that does the character more justice than not recasting. However, it's going to be really interesting to see what direction they go. Is Shuri going to be Black Panther? M'Baku, like, what are we going to get here? Like, what's going to happen? So as far as like, I think that this is the first Marvel movie in a long time where I'm going in with expectations like I have no idea what's going to happen. So I think that that's interesting unless they give away too much in the trailer, which they probably will. But what do you guys think?
I'm excited for Namor. Namor is going to be in the movie. So that's really, I don't care about Shuri or Okoye or anybody else, but I saw Namor and Atuma. Atuma! I'm in.
I'm curious, though, because they haven't introduced the mutants into the MCU yet. And if you know your comic books, Namor is the first mutant to be introduced in the comic book. So is this how they introduce mutants?
I didn't even think about that. That's a good point.
I hope so, because I'm right there with X-Men and all the other mutants. So I'd be totally excited.
Yeah. It's the gateway drug to mutants.
I've been saying that since WandaVision. I was for sure this is where they're going to come. And each movie since, I'm like, yeah, definitely. This is the one. So, like,
dude,
they're going to show up in Shang-Chi 3.
Don't forget, though, everyone thought Kevin Feige was playing 5 years ago when they asked him, like, hey, Kevin, when are we going to get the X-Men now that Marvel has the rights to X-Men or Disney, whatever? He was like, we have a 5-year plan. We're not breaking that 5-year plan. Everybody thought he was playing. That was back in 2018. Guess what? 2023. That's 5 years from 2018. So maybe there might be just a little taste, like, I don't expect to see, honestly, I don't expect to see mutants in this film other than Namor. But that's just me. That's where I'm at. I don't think we're going to get mutants full blown until we get X-Men.
I'll say one thing about Namor. Please do not give him the Aquaman treatment. I do not want to see tribal tattoos. Like, he's already jerk enough as he is written as a character. So it's like, just I want him as comic accurate as possible because I think he is one of the most underrated.
I want Nickelback to do the soundtrack for the speaking of tribal tattoos. Okay, so next, let's talk a little bit about Shazam! Fury of the Gods, which is going to be dropping December 2022. Another hot film that Jared just cannot wait to see.
I love Shazam. I thought Shazam was hilarious. It was a good time. It was the antithesis of every other DC movie, so I was there.
And we haven't really gotten anything out of the Shazam 2 movie. We don't know much about it in general. Just kind of interesting. They don't talk about it. It doesn't make any. With it coming out so soon, they don't talk about it. It's real weird.
That is strange, and it also gives me vibes that maybe we might get another cancellation or a postponement because that kind of seems to be the trend with DC these days. The Flash film, I don't care what anyone says. I'm really excited about that movie, and Ezra Miller. As much of a crap show as that human being is, I'm still excited to see it, and not mainly because of him, but mainly because Keaton's coming back, and we're gonna have all kinds of wild and wacky stuff. Ben Affleck's coming back for probably a brief little cameo, but it's gonna be cool. We're gonna get the new version of Supergirl in that, but I guess we'll save that combo for later. So Shazam, yeah, I'm sure. I didn't love the first Shazam. I think you guys probably liked it more than I did. For me, it's like around a 6.5. I didn't just absolutely love it. Maybe a 6. But we'll see what they do. I like that the main actor. What's his name? Nerdy. I know you know that.
Zachary Levi.
Zachary Levi. Yeah, he's good. He's good. So
my guess is that Amber Heard filmed a lot of scenes for this movie, and so that's why they're like, I don't know if we can release this one either. And they just haven't said that Mara plays a huge part in Shazam 2.
To replace her with Johnny Depp. Put Johnny Depp in a wetsuit and a red wig.
Yeah.
Oh geez. So let's shift gears just a little bit, guys. Another what is sure to be a cult classic, Kraven the Hunter, coming to us from Sony Studios.
No.
January 2023. Like,
I look at Kraven I look at it this way. Sony's just like, how can we make a shittier movie than this? How can we outdo ourselves?
It's like they are literally like milking the cow dry for everything that cow has in it. Because they're like, okay, we can't use Spider-Man because of our deal with Disney. So let's make a Morbius film. Like that 3 years ago, that would have sounded like a joke. But they really put out a Morbius film, okay? And I tried to be optimistic about it. I tried to go to the theaters with my Morbius hat on, and I was let down. So it's odd because they're making all these like villain films. We'll go ahead and cover all their crap. We got El Muerte as played by Bad Bunny, which makes absolutely zero sense. He doesn't have a physique for it. He looks about like me, guys. Like if I was going to play El Muerte, like somebody who's supposed to be this jacked wrestler. I know that he briefly did a stint in WWE like last year, but that doesn't make him any more qualified for this role. What do you guys think about El Muerte?
I'm trying not to think about it.
So is it like a Sinister Six universe? Like what is even the pitch of just like, this is why you should be invested in like we were making fun of like Hercules is at least like a mythological thing that's been established for years and years and years and years. A vampire that's not a vampire, a poacher. Just that.
Who loves animals?
That's his
that's the. Why are you making him an animal savior? That's just that complete opposite of who Kraven is.
Leave it to Sony. It's almost like Fox, the remnants that were left over of Fox Studios kind of migrated over to Sony, and all the decisions that were getting made at Fox just kind of migrated to Sony. Even though Sony really wasn't always terrible. I mean, the first big misstep they had was Amazing Spider-Man 2. Even the first Amazing Spider-Man was not critically panned. I didn't love that film, but when it came out, I remember thinking, okay, it felt like deja vu. We've seen a lot of this crap already, but the movie wasn't terrible. But then we got Amazing Spider-Man 2. Whew. Jeez.
Still better than Thor: Love and Thunder.
You crazy, bro. You crazy.
I remember everyone in the theater was crying that Gwen Stacy died, and I just remember thinking she was the lucky one.
That was really the only good thing that happened in that film was her death scene. Like it was so well executed, but everything else was crap. Okay, this is one that I'm really excited about. Coming out in February of next year, Ant-Man Quantumania. I think that this is going to be a major team-up film. We're going to get Kang the Conqueror. I'm really stoked about this, guys. I think that film might be the first Marvel film that really like shows us, okay, finally after 3,000 movies, this is the path that we're bringing you on in phase 4. I might be wrong about that. I don't think that all the movies have to like really just show like, you know, give us the Thanos or whatever, like really just show us the grander scheme of things. But we've gotten a lot of random and wild movies that are so different, which they've done before, but they all kind of had a similar theme. And now it's like, okay, here's the Eternals, which feels like something completely different. And it doesn't really feel like it's connected that well. Like they mentioned Thanos, and well, this is why we didn't get involved when Thanos came to town, which is a whole nother thing in itself. But it's just like these movies aren't as well connected as Thor, Captain America, the First Avenger, Iron Man, and the Incredible Hulk.
What Jonathan was saying about maybe this will be the one that shows us where phase 4 is going. Man, I've been saying that since WandaVision. Like, I've been hurt too many times, man. I've been hurt too many times.
Yeah, Kevin Feige did an interview last week, and he said that in the next coming weeks, you'll find out where phase 4 is going. So I don't know if that means a reveal at San Diego Comic-Con in 2 weeks.
Probably.
If that's what he's going to reveal. Like, there were mutants in all the movies, and you just didn't know. And here's a surprise X-Men movie we filmed, and you just didn't know. But I don't think that's going to happen. But it's almost too little too late. We have to be towards the end of phase 4. There's like all these TV shows and all these movies in it. Phase 4 can't be another 4 years long. So I don't know.
Actually, I think we are only halfway through phase 4, which is insane.
That's insane.
Right. Which makes sense because you still have, like, you think about it, you still have Black Panther, you still have Ant-Man, you still have all the TV shows, She-Hulk. I mean, there's a lot. And I'm pretty sure the sheer fact that Feige and Marvel are going back to Comic-Con and he released that press release, I think we are going to get he's going to pop up on stage and be like, X-Men Fantastic Four, because that's what we all want. I think that's what he's going to spoil. I don't know. I think phase 4, yeah, it's not a cohesive story, but it's like 2 or 3 stories if you're looking at it, because like the WandaVision, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, that's all kind of its own thing, and then Thor, I'm sure that stuff might have ramifications in Guardians 3. So it is different. It's not what we're used to. Yeah, I'll give you that. Phase 1 through 3 was one story basically, and now we're getting several stories. And you also got to remember, Kevin Feige had his hand in everything in phase 1 through 3, and now that there's too many properties, he's not actually having his hand in all the cookie jars anymore, which I think is what's showing. You can't.
So even the visual effects artists are like complaining because of this extremely stressful conditions that they're under. You know, like they said, someone literally picked up a computer monitor and threw it across the. I mean, it's nuts. It's way too much. Way too many new characters. You don't have enough like pillars in there anymore. I mean, Thor, yeah, sure. Doctor Strange, Spider-Man. To me, like, you know, that's a pillar. You know, I guess you could say Spider-Man would be a pillar, but you know, Moon Knight, Shang-Chi, the movie was good. You know, that I'll give Shang-Chi a pass. That one worked in my opinion. But the Eternals, I don't even think I want to see them again in any other Marvel movie. I would be completely okay if they never showed up again. That's just where I'm at. We better not harp on phase 4 too much because we'll be talking for an hour or so. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, which comes out March of next year. And I'll say this. I love the first Aquaman. I think it's better than Shazam. I think it's better than Birds of Prey, which isn't saying much. A lot of the more modern DC films, I really enjoyed Aquaman. I thought it was a cool science fiction, visually stunning. I thought that there was a lot to like. And someone who really appreciates costumes as much as Jared, I thought he would like it a little bit more.
Did I text you when I tried to watch it?
No.
I had a night over in like a hotel for a Comic-Con, and it was on. And I made it to like the second commercial, and I couldn't do it anymore. It was just too terrible. The effects were awful. It was so cheesy. You knew exactly what was happening.
Like, he was probably watching it on a 480 TV, Jared.
What's that?
480 resolution.
Oh, no, it was at the hotel. In the comfort suites, baby.
I'm so disappointed in you, Josh. Tell us how good Aquaman is.
I'm probably not the best one to, because I mean I do end up enjoying a lot more movies than most people would be like, I didn't like that, and I did, because I definitely I'm more Marvel than DC, but I still love DC.
Yeah,
And so, but I mean I enjoyed the movie, and I think there's some we've mentioned that I did enjoy, and there's some that when we talked about I didn't. I don't see where they're going with some of, when we're talking about the Sony. I missed piping in on that. But yeah, I enjoy movies. I enjoy going out, so I did enjoy that one.
I enjoyed Aquaman, and I think so did a lot of people since it made $1 billion.
yeah, right.
Titanic did too, and I didn't like it.
Don't you talk about Titanic.
Just saying.
It might be,
You're crossing a
if you
line.
realize, the movies that make $1 billion are usually surrounded by water. So,
right? Yeah.
Dude, Titanic was so unrealistic. An iceberg couldn't sink a ship in real life.
It was what, the early teens, the 20s? Like, it could maybe.
I don't know where they came up with that storyline, Tim.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, moving on. Guardians 3, May of 2023. I think that it's safe to say that everyone's excited about that film. It's going to be phenomenal. Of course, the actors that are in it are going to say high praise about the film that they're in, but I'm really excited to see it. I think that it's going to be – we're probably going to get some deaths, I would imagine. I can see us losing Drax because he does not salute to the almighty Disney flag, and he kind of lashes out a lot publicly. Sometimes he puts his foot in his mouth. But what do you guys think? What are your expectations for Guardians 3?
I am super excited. So one of my really good friends is the one of the casting directors for it, and I got to see some of the stuff, and it is holy snap. It's gonna be just mind blowing, the stuff we're gonna get. Beyond excited for it. It's my most anticipated film coming out for Marvel for sure.
That's super cool.
Yeah, I'm pumped to see Adam Warlock. I can't wait.
Yes.
The kid from that movie, what was the movie with the road trip and the family and Angelina? Not Angelina.
Meet the Millers. I think it's Meet the Millers or something like that.
That kid is playing Adam Warlock. But if you see him now, like, he's jacked and like he just looks totally different. It's crazy. I never would have expected him to like be a good fit for that role, but like some of the more recent pictures I've seen of that guy, he looks great.
Huh, I looked him up right now. He would not be my first guess, but I mean, he's a good actor.
Yeah, he's definitely a left field casting.
It's definitely going to be interesting to see what they do with Adam Warlock since the Infinity Saga is done.
Yeah.
So,
it'd be funny if they kept the comic book Infinity War storyline where Adam Warlock is coming back to try and stop Thanos, but in the Marvel movie, he's like, "Hey guys, sorry,
you're too late." But yeah, I think it's safe to say, like I said, everybody's excited about that. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse coming out in June of next year. I think that first movie was a big sleeper hit. Like, nobody really I saw it advertised and I was like, oh, it's another kid movie. But when I watched that movie, I think for the first time, I think my daughter was too young, but I watched it. I'm trying to make excuses of me watching cartoons all by myself, but I watched it and I loved it. It was totally awesome. I was really taken aback by not just the special effects, but the story and the heart. A lot of people rank the first Spider-Man into the multiverse a top 10 movie. What do you guys think?
It's going to be fun. It's just going to be fun. You just sit and you have some good snacks and you just enjoy it. It's going to be a blast.
See, I'm exactly opposite than you, Jonathan. I was glad to have kids so I had an excuse because I always watch cartoons. I mean, we've talked about it. I grew up X-Men, loved the cartoon, loved anything that would come out, and still
don't get Jared too excited about X-Men the animated series. He's gonna get.
And I mentioned to your partner that I watched that, and that's my wife, which at the time we were dating, and she loved it, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna work.
That's how you knew she was the one.
Oh yeah, I knew at that moment. And so, yeah, I mean, still, I'm going through watching Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy, the cartoons. I mean, I don't have to have an excuse for that.
Right.
So, yeah,
Amen.
that Spider-Man, I loved, and I know I'm going to love Across. So I loved Into, and I thought art was amazing, and I love the way it was done. And I love art, so I love looking at the different ways they do things and going. I would watch the videos on how they do it, which is interesting to me. So I mean, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, when you talk about animated features, I think that DC has a lot of good animated movies. I think that if there's anything that they're better than Marvel at as of right now, their animated films are great. I even enjoyed Flashpoint, of course. I even like the Red Sun Superman. I mean, that whole concept to me is so cool. Like, what if Superman landed in Mother Russia instead of the United States? And I think they have a lot of good stuff, but we're not going to get too carried away on animation, and we're going to move on to the next one, which is going to be The Flash. Raise your hand if you're not excited about this movie. Okay, of course, the DC hater. I'm very excited. I'll raise my hand to be excited about this movie because, you know what? Like I said, Keaton's coming back. You got the new Supergirl. You got and I never have been a huge fan of Ezra Miller. I think that I don't even think he's as good as Grant Gustin in the TV show, which downhill really quickly. But as far as like portraying the character, heck, I would put John Wesley Shipp over him, the guy that played him in the early 90s. He's just like the way he runs, it's just like so extra. That just looks, and I know people are like, oh, well, how can you say that his running style is unrealistic because you don't know what it would be like to run using the Speed Force? Super nerds, and also maybe the Justice League didn't help because the tone of that movie was so weird and all over the place, and a lot of his jokes to me fell flat. And then on top of that, he wasn't really like he didn't really like exude, but they did fix that a bit in the Snyder cut. I'm starting to get carried away too much, but he's not my favorite Flash. I'll just leave it at that.
First of all, I think the best person that ever pretended to run behind a green screen was Adam West in the 1960s Batman with a little that was iconic. Second of all, I in no way mean to be a tasteless and crude troll when I say this, but before all the Ezra Miller controversy, the Flash movie was maybe a 5 out of 10 out of anticipation for me. With all this crazy stuff going on right now, it is a 12 out of 10. I have to see this movie. I can't believe. I mean, I can believe it because movies cost money. You can't just scrap a movie because something happened. But it's just so wild that we're about to go see a movie in what, next year, right?
Next summer, yeah.
11 months from now, roughly.
Just with all the stuff going on, it's impossible for it not to be iconic at this point because it's just such a once in a lifetime situation to happen. Like it even makes the Amber Heard thing look, like nothing.
Tame.
Yeah.
What I'm curious about is like, because I'm assuming a year from now, Ezra Miller is just going to literally be a cult leader altogether. Like he's going to come out, I'm a cult leader, like I'm brainwashing children, whatever. How do you market this movie?
Yeah.
Like you can't have like, do you imagine having news stories where it's like Ezra Miller is now a cult leader, he's the next Jim Jones, and then the next thing is a commercial for the Flash and he's like out saving people? Like, how do you market this?
Yeah.
That's very, very tricky. And there was like some people online were talking like, well, why don't you just replace him and do some reshoots? Do you know how expensive that would be? That would be astronomical. And they've already spent what, $200 million on this movie?
$200 million, yeah.
Dude, there's no coming back from this. And then all the people that are like, oh, well, just throw it on HBO Max. You're crazy. You know how much money they're going to miss out on if they like just drop it on a streaming service? Millions. Like this movie could potentially make $1 billion.
Yeah.
And I think all that is just in the garbage can.
If you make its money back, but I don't know if it'll be, I don't know. But it's a year from now. Ezra Miller might just like drop off face the earth and no one remembers any of this stuff. So that could be another outcome.
Now I'm gonna look like a moron here because I have to say you kept talking about being extra, him being extra, and then I kept thinking, why does he keep pronouncing? What is with your pronunciation of Justice League, and then they hit me Joss Whedon. But I was thinking, has he got some weird pronunciation? And he's talking about over the top Flash, Ezra Miller, and I'm like, why did he so anyway, I just had to put that out there because it just hit me, and I was like, that's why he keeps saying it. I thought he was just overpronouncing everything. Like,
to be fair, I am very over the top, Josh. So moving on, let's just keep this one brief. Madam Web.
Why are we even counting these? Don't even count these as comic book movies. These are just trash in the theater.
What's the purpose of making a Madam Web movie? You know,
how do you make a Madam Web movie without Spider-Man? I get the rest of them, but how do you make this without Spider-Man?
Same way you make a Venom and a Morbius and a Kraven the Hunter and a El Muerte.
Venom makes sense. Morbius made sense, and Kraven could make sense if you did it right. But like Madam Web, like that's our pass for me. That might be one of the only comic book movies I never watch. And I love Dakota Fanning and all them, but or Dakota Johnson or whatever her name is. But I just don't know this. It's going to be so terrible without Spider-Man.
She's just a geriatric in a chair, right? I mean, she's in a chair.
She's the guide Spider-Man, and she's a big part of what is it? The Beyonder stuff. But I don't
Secret Wars.
Yeah, I don't. I think Sony was just going through the Marvel Encyclopedia and was like, this one
of obscure villain. Well, they started off with villains known, and then obscure villain. Let's just pull out these villains and.
If anything, why are they not doing a Gwen Stacy Spider-Man movie, or I don't know, live action Miles Morales? Why are you giving us Madam Web?
Probably because Disney doesn't trust them enough to put out a Miles Morales movie. They're like, we're not going to let you ruin the character. That was probably in the clause or in the contract somewhere.
Could have been.
What's going to happen, guys? This is basically what's going to happen when Madam Web comes out. I'm going to fly to Ohio. I'm going to pick up Jared, and I'm going to bring him to South Carolina. I'm going to pick up Dustin, and then we're all going to go to Mississippi because that's the coolest place in the world to be, and we're all going to watch it together in theaters opening night. Are you guys excited?
No.
That is the way I could be, maybe.
So the next one on the docket is the Marvels. I'm not the biggest fan of Brie Larson. I think that she is a very unpleasant human being. It's hilarious to me that Marvel and Disney thought this person cannot carry their own sequel, so they had to put in Photon and Marvel. We're telling audiences, hey guys, it's okay. We're going to put in Photon. That's not enough. And Miss Marvel. We're going to put Miss Marvel and Photon in the movie with Brie Larson. I just think that's hilarious. It worked because I'm actually a lot more excited about this film than I would be if it was just a sequel to Captain Marvel, with just Brie Larson.
Right.
So I think that the only good thing about the first Captain Marvel movie was Ben Mendelsohn and Nicholas J. Fury. The character of Captain Marvel to me is boring. And Brie Larson's actually a good actress. I watched Kong Skull Island recently, and I thought that she did a really good job in that movie. If she taken the way that she was, her personality and her character and brought that over to Captain Marvel, to me it would have just been, I don't know, she's a good actress because I've seen other movies of her actually doing a good job, but I hated Captain Marvel.
I mean, I don't know, her in Endgame was okay. Now, granted, they actually shot those scenes before Captain Marvel, so I think they kind of knew what they wanted to do, but then didn't go with. I don't know. It's just she is a great actress. I mean, she's an Oscar winner, but when you look at Captain Marvel, it's she didn't even want to be there.
Right.
It's I'll just take that paycheck and I'll stare at the camera. It was a waste. I cannot stand. Yes, Samuel Jackson was cool in that movie. I give you that, and the skulls and but it's definitely on my lower tier for Marvel for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited about Photon. I liked her character in the comic books, and I thought she was great and underused in WandaVision. So I look forward to them explaining, how she was able to make it through and what was going on with her powers and all that stuff. And hopefully this is where Rogue shows up. There's just all these rumors about Rogue. That would be wonderful if Rogue grabs her face and squeezes it and just takes her powers, and we never see Brie Larson again. It would be amazing.
I second that.
Brie Larson was in Scott Pilgrim versus the World, so she will always get that pass from me. It's the same reason I don't say anything about The Huntress and Birds of Prey. Same reason. I'm like, look, your previous work, you get a pass from me. But maybe if Rogue comes in, maybe I'd care. But it's a very lukewarm, anticipated movie for me.
Are you excited about the Marvels, Josh?
I am. I'm actually watching through with my girls the Miss Marvel and stuff. So I'm looking forward to that one, bringing that all them in.
Yeah, Miss Marvel, you know what? I love the actress. I think that she's great. And that is literally the only thing that's keeping me like wanting to see. I mean, I would watch it anyway. It's Marvel, but I think her personality is what really like takes the show from being extremely mediocre to decent. I guess I could say right now is kind of where it's at. I haven't seen the newest episode, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. Let's talk a little bit about Blade. That's another film that doesn't have a release date yet, but Mahershala Ali is a phenomenal actor. Have you guys ever seen the Luke Cage show on Netflix?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I just want him to get a little bit more like buff. Like he doesn't have to be like, I'm not talking like Terry Crews buff. I'm just talking like maybe about as buff as I am. I'm just kidding. That was a bad joke. No, but like I think that, he's a very slender guy, so surely he's probably going to put on some muscle. But man, he's got the voice and he's got the chops to do it. And I think that it's going to be really exciting to see a modern version of Blade. Not only that, but in the MCU.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they're doing with it. Like, they've introduced Black Knight and Moon Knight. Are you going to do Midnight Suns? I mean, what are you going to what are they going to do with this movie? It's definitely one of my most anticipated. And I don't even know what they're doing with it yet, but it's Blade.
Is this one going to be rated R?
It better be.
I would hope so, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
Technically, Marvel hasn't done that yet, right?
Deadpool will be the only R-rated movie that we know of right now. So yeah, I can't imagine it being R-rated.
PG-13, you get a F-bomb, right? One
You do get
F-bomb,
one.
2 S-bombs.
You get
Well,
one F-bomb, yeah.
But he just doesn't drop F-bombs in the comic books. I'm a comic books like that. Those are my babies. So like just show me what he does in the comic books and put it on the screen. And him and Deadpool they used to make a whole sentence through without dropping 4-letter word.
Okay.
And now, because of the movies, they just Wolverine and Storm are cursing. And I'm like, they don't talk like that.
I've noticed that. There's like I just got done reading Spider-Punk, and there's so much swearing in that comic in the 3 runs so far. But like, yeah, why? Yeah, I don't get it. Why do they need to be? I don't know. It's weird.
If it's as gory as Multiverse of Madness, I think that's that can get whatever vampire slaying thing you need visually out of. It doesn't just have to be, a grindhouse film or anything.
Don't forget the first Blade films were not like super gory.
Right.
Honestly, like looking back on those movies, I'm not even sure why they were rated R. Like there really wasn't that much terrible language. You didn't really get a whole lot of F-bombs, or did you? Maybe I'm not remembering correctly, but as far as violence, you didn't get a whole lot.
Those first 2, it's definitely for the violence. I mean, there was a lot of blood can get you a rating. I mean,
well, maybe I'm misremembering, but I all I can remember is when he would cut a vampire in half with a silver sword or whatever, they would just, turn into ashes. That's what I remember. But I mean,
You should rewatch it, man.
yeah, I need to rewatch it. It's been a while.
yeah.
Because I was going to say, how do you get through
The
that?
third one.
Yeah, because I was going to say, how do you have a vampire movie without the blood and the darkness that would give it that rating? I mean, without the language, I just thought that's what the scariness and the darkness and the blood. But
Well, that's Morbius.
X-Men and Fantastic Four. Just everything that you're holding bottled up inside, just let it out. Let it out, guys. Let it out.
Please let it be good. Please let them be good.
So Victoria Alonso is the number 3 person at Marvel Studios, and she has said on many, many interviews that she's not sure that the term X-Men is appropriate in this day and age. and that they are looking at making it maybe be called the Mutants or something else. And for that, I will like have a coronary when that is released, and they're called the Mutants or the Diversity Squad or whatever they're called. I'll just die right there. And Josh, you'll have to go see the X-Men movie without me because I've died.
The X thems.
Yeah.
No, that is frustrating to hear.
That has always bugged me because, and this is how I've always perceived it. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's like X-Men covers the word men, and women, you just don't say X-women because it's a longer thing to say. But men is short. It's mankind, not because it's just guys, but men stands for everyone, right?
Like the Cronins.
Right. So I think that's a real unnecessary change.
Yeah, hopefully they don't go that route. I'm really excited to see like a brand new X-Men cast and done right, guys. Think about how exciting it's going to be to see Cyclops, like really Cyclops. You know what I'm saying? We're going to see freaking, you mentioned Rogue earlier and Jean Grey and Storm. I know you're excited to see Storm, Jared. Yeah. That's your baby's mama. But yeah. I'm just so excited to see that fresh cast. I want them to cast like 20 to 25-year-olds, like a fresh cast that we can stick with and be with for the next 15 years. Like, that's what they need to do. That's why, Hugh Jackman doesn't work as Wolverine anymore, which I'm not trying to take anything away from his performance in Logan. He did great. But he was just getting way too up there in age. Like he was, 55 or 50, somewhere in that neighborhood whenever they shot Logan. Wow. So, yeah, we need young, fresh faces, like probably a lot of unknowns. And I know Marvel and Kevin Feige can this off of some of those other films and make sure you take good care of your little X-Men project.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, Storm could show up in Wakanda forever. Rogue could show up in the Marvels, and Beast could be a scientist in Quantumania. Wolverine could be in Blade. I don't care. Just bring them all slowly, because that's what made Avengers work. Is all that we knew who they were, as opposed to, and this, I'm not trying to hate, but Justice League was just like, bleh, here they all are, and they're established and they're great. Like, whoa, it's too much. But Avengers was just like the perfect movie because you knew, you had that anticipation and you knew everybody, and it made sense.
I agree, 100%.
I agree. Yeah.
But
I'm just ready.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Nerdy Dustin.
No, you're fine. I was actually gonna switch over to Fantastic Four, so you go ahead with your X-Men stuff.
There's so much talk about Secret Wars and how maybe that's where Phase 4 is building to, and that maybe once Secret Wars happens, that's when we get the X-Men and they come out of that, and we're not going to see them in the MCU proper, that they're going to show up. And I like the guy's last name, Bo DeMeo. He's the showrunner, for X-Men 97, the animated series. And he keeps playing coy about whether X-Men 97 takes place in the MCU and how it's connected. And it shouldn't, because it's a direct follow-up to the X-Men animated series. But if he's playing coy about that, what does that mean? Is that going to be our team, and that's what's going to show up after Secret Wars, but live action? Or is Secret Wars going to be a thing? I don't know.
I think you're reading too much into it, Jared.
I know. I see Mephisto in every Disney Plus show too. So.
All I was gonna say was I'm just so excited to finally be able to get a Fantastic Four movie with an actual budget.
Yes.
and done properly. Fingers crossed, done properly.
That's all I want, because honestly, the Fantastic Four works if it has a budget. All 4 films we've ever got, even the Corman, like, there's no budget in any of these movies. Yeah. they just throw garbage at us. Like,
Dr. Doom looked like garbage in Fan Force. He literally had a garbage bag on his head.
And let's not forget, Galactus was just a shadow over a planet, and then a damn tornado.
A cloud.
Yeah.
That's how Galactus, circa 2025. I mean, 2005.
And honestly, we can get Galactus now in the MCU. We just had Eternity for for Pete's sakes. Like, we can get Galactus now.
Yes, absolutely.
And when I saw Skrulls in, I was excited thinking about Fantastic Four. I was like, are we going to get something with that one? Because, I mean, that would tie in. I don't know. I mean, I would be excited about Fantastic Four. Yes.
Well, I'm hoping we get like the Baxter Building or a Reed Richard cameo, something in Ant-Man 3 that sets it up too. So, like, because I don't really want to wait another 2 or 3 years for just a little snippet of Fantastic.
Right.
Give me something now, you know. Like,
Right. Yeah. Well, who bought Avengers Tower? Was it
exactly.
Kingpin?
Yeah.
Was it Kingpin or was it Fantastic Four? Like, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be cool with Kingpin though.
Somebody bought it. Who?
I don't care if they mess up as far as like casting and directing. I don't care if they mess up Reed Richards, Human Torch, Thing, Invisible Woman. I don't care if they just do not do those characters any justice. As long as you give me a solid Doctor Doom, who's probably one of my favorite Marvel villains of all time, have Adam Driver play him, I will be happy, because I care a little bit about Doom interacting with Fantastic Four. I care a lot more about Doom just being one of the big bads that's out there for the MCU to deal with. So that's my only request.
Yeah, Doom is one of the main baddies in Marvel. Like, he's in a lot of the big stories. So, like, he could definitely be the next big bad, like Thanos, for sure. I love that Adam Driver would kill it as Doom.
He commits. He commits like no one else I've ever seen.
Oh,
Yeah, I like
Let's get Jared Leto then. He would be great.
Oh God.
I hear Ezra Miller's out of work.
Yeah.
Or we could gender swap Doom for Amber Heard. Like, there's a lot of actors not working.
Yeah.
Dude, Jared Leto would method act and actually like take over a country just to like say it's for a role.
He's definitely an interesting person. Guys, thank you so much for joining me today. We have talked at length today about our most anticipated movies coming out in the future. Make sure you let us know in the comments what your most anticipated movies are. Jared, Timbo, Nerdy, Dustin, let us know where we can find you on social media.
You can check us out at them6p.com or do a search for the M6P on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all the places that the kids these days are checking out.
Except for TikTok.
No.
What's up, Tim?
Speaking of, comedian Timothy Watkins on TikTok. That's right, I sold out, and look at me. I've never been better in my life.
I pledge allegiance to China. What's up, Dustin?
I've also sold out. You can also find me on TikTok and Nerdy Dustin, and you can find me over at Cloudy Sky Entertainment on YouTube.
Yep. And for the third person here that's sold out as well, you can find me on TikTok and Instagram at Real Comic Book Cinema. You've already found us on YouTube. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, do all the things. Do all the things there. You can also find us on Facebook. And until next time, have a great day.